Hello, this is Alexander Cross, attorney, law offices of Cross and Associates. If you'd like to learn more about criminal law here in the San Francisco Bay Area, be sure to subscribe to our channel, Law Offices of Cross and Associates. So we received an interesting inquiry on our channel, Law Offices of Cross and Associates. This has to do with the domestic violence followed by a child endangerment. Let's see. So my husband had a case of domestic violence in the year 2000 with his ex-partner. Yesterday, he pulled the ear of my 4-year-old child and he got hurt. Someone called the police and they took my husband. What can happen? Well, first of all, let's talk about the domestic violence from the year 2000. Now, assuming it was just a straight domestic violence, a 273.5, actually a 273.5 carries up to 4 years in state prison. And if he had gone to prison, this could be a problem, especially if he got a strike. Generally speaking, these are not strikes. Now, of course, if you're just saying domestic violence generally, but let's say it was a 245A1 assault with a deadly weapon or a 245A4, I mean, if it was something that carried a strike, that would be a major problem here because strikes can affect you for life. But barring a strike or a prison sentence, let's say hypothetically in the domestic violence case from the year 2000, let's say he just got county jail or probation, then that case from the year 2000 will not have an effect on this case now. It's been 20 years. So now let's talk about the pulling of the ear. If you just pulled the ear, kid got hurt, that's probably a misdemeanor, 273A parentheses A, which would be child cruelty, carries up to 1 year in county jail. But if the child got so hurt that he had to go to the hospital or suffer some kind of permanent damage, well, there we're talking about maiming. But let's say, he had to go to the hospital, suffered some bruising or blood. In a situation like that, we're talking about a felony, 273AA, which carries up to 6 years in state prison. Remember, when it comes to corporal injury, the rule of thumb, well, not really, but the generally accepted way to punish a child is with an open hand, generally to the legs or the buttocks, but you're not supposed to leave marks. No bruises, none of that stuff. Otherwise, you will be charged with a 273AA. Obviously, if a child has to go to the hospital, that's a 273AA felony. You have to be very, very careful here in the state of California when it comes to corporal punishment. Open hand, no bruises, no welts, you should be fine. But, if you're pulling an ear and you damage the eardrum or you damage, the lobe, anything like that, you pull it too much and then there's a cut. No, you can't do that. That, like I said before, that's a 273A parentheses A, and on top of that, you're going to have to take you might have to take anger management courses, you're going to have to take parenting courses. It's a very, very serious offense. You have to be very, very careful at that. Obviously, you also have to look at the conduct of the child, but if we're talking about a 4-year-old, nothing that the 4-year-old could possibly do would warrant hurting the child to the point that he would have to go to the hospital or has a cut. So that's a 273AA, and in a situation like that, this is really, they're going to not just look at the physical evidence, but also they're going to look at the testimony of any witnesses, including the child, because the child might give a very, very detailed story, and if the mother, who's interviewed separately, was there and gives a very similar story, that's going to be a really, really, really difficult hole to climb out of. And in a situation like that, it would be necessary to talk to the DA to discuss a plea bargain in order to avoid a county jail sentence. Regardless, if you'd like to learn more about criminal law here in the San Francisco Bay Area, be sure to subscribe to our channel, Law Offices of Cross and Associates. But if you've been accused of a crime and need representation in court, be sure to give us a call at 1-800-862-7677. Once again, 1-800-862-7677. And the next video that we're going to be making has to do with somebody who was photographing underage children. See the next video.